What's happening, everybody? Bob from Crossing Broad here. We have the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday afternoon in a critical AFC South matchup. Colts coming into this game off the bye week after a huge win as a big-time road underdog at Kansas City 2 weeks ago. The Texans, meanwhile, off of a terrible loss 3 weeks ago to the Carolina Panthers, in which they scored only 10 points, have exploded on offense for a combined 84 points over their last 2 games. We have a full betting preview ahead of this one, and we'll have that for you in just a minute. But if you are in the state of Indiana and you are looking to bet on this game because legal sports betting did go live at the end of September, you can head over to crossingbroad.com/DK. Download DraftKings and they will match your first bet up to $200.
You give me a rain.
All right, so we have the Texans and Colts in an important AFC South game. Let's take a look at the spread. You never really know how these games are going to turn out, and the odds are reflective of that. Houston comes in as a 1-point underdog. Even money on the money line, total set at 47.5, Colts minus 118 on the money line. So I love Frank Reich. I will say that. I love Frank Reich. I think he's a fantastic coach. I think that Deshaun Watson on the other side for the Texans is an outstanding quarterback. So which way are we going to go here? Well, let's first start with this little nugget. Colts are 3-0-1 ATS and 4-0 straight up when favored by 3 points or less under Frank Reich. So when you have these 50-50 type games, the Colts tend to excel. Meanwhile, Bill O'Brien's Texans 7-12 ATS when an underdog of 3 points or less. I do not love Bill O'Brien. I like Frank Reich a lot. So when it comes down to the coaching matchup, I strongly lean with Reich. Now, off of that, Bill O'Brien teams are 2-6 ATS overall and 1-3 against the spread when a road underdog of 2 points or less in division games. We see a lot of these coin flip games with AFC South contests, and Bill O'Brien has been terrible in them, and I think that that is worth pointing out given what we're looking at specifically with this spread. Meanwhile, Colts riding into this one off of a bye week. Home teams coming off a bye are only 38-53-2 ATS in division games. So that is a little bit problematic. I would be all over Indy had it not been for this trend. That does give me a little bit of pause. However, AFC South road underdogs of 2 points or less in division games are 2-7 against the spread. So I almost kind of consider those two things to wash each other away. It is a washout. Road underdogs of 3 points or less in division games that didn't have a bye week coming in against teams that did are only 3-8 ATS. So that strongly favors the Colts with the extra rest, as you might expect. And finally, home teams favored off of a bye are only 26-33-2 ATS, but when favored by 3 points or less, they are 9-4-1 in division games. So when you have two familiar opponents, you have a more well-rested team and a short spread, that tends to strongly favor the home team and the favorite. All right? Now, as for the total, when the home team averages between 22 and 24 points per game, like Indy does, and the road team averages between 27 to 29 points per game, and the total closes at exactly between 47 and 48.5 points, the over is 11-6. So what these two teams have done now through basically 6 games, 5 games if you're the Colts, lends itself to the over at almost a 66% hit rate. Now, the over is also 11-5 when the home team has a bye in a division game, and the total is set between 46.5 and 48.5 points as well. So that lends itself to a play on the over. And then finally, the over is 26-19-1 when the total is set between 46.5 and 48 points, and the road team scored at least 30 points in consecutive games coming in. Like I said at the top, Texans have scored a combined 84 points over their last 2 games, eclipsing 30 in at least both of them. 2 weeks ago in Atlanta, the Texans put up, or against Atlanta, I should say, they put up over 50 points. So that being said, I like the over. As for the side, love Deshaun Watson. Think he's probably a top 3, top 4 quarterback in the NFL. Certainly he could go into Indianapolis and steal a game here, but at the end of the day, I have to roll with who I think is the better coach, and that is Frank Reich. I will take the Colts. Now, if you want to bet on this game and you're in the state of Indiana, make sure that you go over to crossingbroad.com/DK, download DraftKings, and they will give you a risk-free bet of up to $200. Make sure you take a look at that one.